Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to My Alaskan Dream. Well, today is step 2 in building my home here in beautiful Soldier, Alaska. I'm excited to announce that my dirt guy gave me the call on Friday and said it's time we can put in the pad for the cabin. So I know it's been a little while since we talked about that, so I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory. And then I was able to the last couple days prepare for that, and I'll show you a little bit about that and catch you up on a few things here. So um, the building process here in Alaska, and I think I talked about this a long time ago, is a lot of this ground here is pretty soft and has a over quite a layer of overburden, softer ground, and I was able to get some of that taken off when they did the initial pushback for the snow and stuff like that in late winter. So that helped the process along. But I still have to have a stone pad put down. So I'll explain a little bit more in detail here in a minute how that's going to work as we walk around here. So I got the call on Friday, and he said he was going to be able to come Monday morning to do it. Today is Sunday. It's about I don't know 6 7 o'clock here in Alaska. So the last couple of days, I've been really concentrating on taking down my temporary structure and organizing things as best as I can so they can put this pad up. And then what's going to happen is once they put the pad in, uh, my next uh, my next order of lumber is going to be delivered on Wednesday. The company here in Fairbanks only delivers to Selcha on Wednesdays. So the pad will be put in tomorrow morning. Should take him roughly half a day. So the pad will be put in, and then I'll have a little break before I can actually put too much of it back together again, because when I put it back together again this time, it's going to go on a platform. And I'll discuss in detail in part two when we come to that in a couple of days what's entailed with the platform. And I'm going to document, this as I go along here. So the pad consists of the crushed rock. It's going to be a 12.5 foot wide driveway that I'll walk you through here. And it's going to go on an 18 foot wide by 20 foot wide box in the back. And then my platform will be put on that. And what I'll be using is number one railroad ties for the bottom of the platform and 2x8s on top of that. That'll give me my platform, and that will be my temporary floor when I put my temporary structure back up again and add to it. And then down the road, I'll add an additional floor with some, I'm going to look around and decide which way I want to go. There's different ways to go, but just some basic floor insulation, just a basic floor. It's going to be off the ground, so that'll definitely help the cold. And I can implement down the road if I want to put, warm water piping or some kind of heat in the floor. I don't know if I need to go that route yet because we're starting pretty small. So what we're going to do is we're going to back up right out here and give you a view from the road. So as you can see, no more temporary structure. And I am camping out. So we'll get over there in a minute. So this is where my driveway will start. And this is just to give him an idea of, you know, it'll come, you know, pretty close to ground level here and be roughly about a foot above ground. So he'll cover up that little mess right there. And then as we work our way back here, this gives me, for my vehicle, my little Ford Escape, this will give me plenty of wide driveway. And it will also give me room for addition down the road. If I want to clean this back here and put an addition, add a little more pad on here, I can do that. So we get back here, this dimension is 20 feet wide by 18 feet wide. And we're going to put the cabin in the far back corner here. So we're going to have our railroad ties. We're going to have 6 8-foot long railroad ties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the platform is going to go on top of that. And then we will be putting our structure back up again. So I've got, I tried to put things in strategic places. That's all my roof, temporary, for my roof that'll be going back up again. I'm going to be able to reuse down the road, cut out and reuse some of my inside siding, and then just everything else just strategically placed. I still have my platform that I can use. And now I am tenting. So one thing that I was able to do since we last talked is add to the wood pile and split my wood. So I have everything compacted in here that I don't want to get wet if it rains. Added a pretty good little amount of wood, got it split up. And then what I did with my walls, was able to scoop my walls right over here. So, unfortunately, I would have liked to have had them a little bit closer. I'm going to have to drag those a little farther than I'd like. And my little tent was extra storage for some of the things that I want to keep out of the rain. And I am able to sleep in my big stand-up tent pretty comfortably with stuff packed around me. So there we go. Added a little bit more to my piles, and my garden is coming along quite nicely. I'm excited about that. I'm keeping my plants in the planters probably a little bit longer than I normally would, just simply because I want to wait for some good black dirt to add back there. So all my plants are still good and healthy looking. My sugar peas are really coming along. The rest of my plants are coming along at their own pace. And my beets and onions are doing good. The onions are a little bit slow, but everything's coming along pretty good. I'm happy with it. So, needless to say, Teardown, I did most of it yesterday. I did a little preparation on Friday, but yesterday was pretty much just Teardown. So, what I'm getting at is I worked a full 12, 13-hour day yesterday with very little break. And I started with the idea of the more I do today, the less I have to do on Sunday. And the day was so beautiful, I just kept on going. And before I know it, it's 5, 6 o'clock at night, and I'm hungry and a little bit tired, feeling okay. I did go down to the river and did a little fishing. Unfortunately, the fish weren't biting. I just got a couple of bites, but I didn't catch anything. But it was a long day yesterday, but I'm glad I did. I'm glad I was able to get it done. I was able to visit one of the other local churches here, so I'm sticking right here on the homestead. I'll be going into town on Thursday to pick up any additional supplies that I need after I do my initial look over of all the supplies that are coming on Wednesday. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing with my upgrade is this temporary structure that just kept me out of the rain is now going to be added onto, and it's going to have the normal width of the for the insulation. I'm going to build the wall joist, and what's the word I'm looking for? The studs are going to go 16 on center. So I'm going to have to take the top piece off. I have the proper OSB boards for the exterior, so I'm going to have to cut a little bit off the top of the 12-footers for the 12-foot tall pieces, so the OSB fits snug and it's going to fit tightly to the platform. So I don't have any charts or any papers drawn up for any of my plans yet. I'm going to start doing some of that tonight. Tomorrow morning when he comes to do my pad, it's going to be basically just watching him, what he does, and getting a feel for that. And then I can do some preparation on Tuesday. So Unfortunately, like I said, they only deliver products from the wood store 1 day a week. So looking forward to get everything here. And the process should be pretty simple. Getting a roof over my head again, because like I said, it's going to be just a partial upgrade. And then phase 3 will take place in July. That's when I'll be adding my permanent roof and adding my extra insulation and additional wall space on the inside. So we are going to stick. The only thing that we're going to do something a little different. Instead of going with the big 12-foot walls in the sleeping loft, we're going to go with a 110-foot wall that'll give me a 10-foot to an 8-foot pitch, for the snow on the metal roof to get the snow off. So um, once again, things change on the fly. I've been thinking about what I was going to do for my wood stove. I have a few options there. I was able to find a 40-gallon, really nice 40-gallon drum. So that's a little bit bigger than I would prefer. So I'm looking at some options for doing it this way instead of building it this way, for space concerns. So all that's subject to change. I may just decide at the last minute to get one of those pre-made, efficient camp stoves, because I'm only heating. Actually, it won't be a 12 by 12 space, floor space on the inside when I'm done. It'll be 12 by 12 minus 8 inches around. So by the time I add my extra walls. So I'm excited about that. And one of the other great things that happened is my planter, um, my wishing well planter, is for sale at the store down the road here. So they accepted it, and then they just put it out for sale at the Naughty Shop, I think yesterday. So looking forward to that, to getting some of my craft ideas in the store and getting some things for sale to create some extra income. And then uh, going ahead here, the final stage will be, and I think I talked about it, the final stage will be in September. Early September is when I'll actually add the insulation in the interior walls, uh, finish them up, because I do plan on going back to Wisconsin to visit my family in early September. So the soonest I can get that insulation done, lock everything up tight, and then come back in time for snow and winter. So that's the plan. So lots of exciting stuff coming up. I will have some footage tomorrow of the pad going in. Going to do some footage on that, and then next step will be to work on the platform and get the temporary living structure back up. So that'll carry me over for the next 30 days until I do my next upgrade. So there we go. So thank you again, everybody. I really appreciate the support. Thank you again to all my subscribers. I really appreciate you. My family and friends at home, I love you, I miss you, and I'm looking forward to bringing you some great footage coming up. Take care.